Hello everyone, welcome to the Ashworth Wealth Weekly Market Update. We'll kind of jump into this week's slide. This week's slide talks specifically about the current U.S. trade deficit. You can kind of see since '92, basically at the time I got married, that we've continued to have a very, very large trade deficit. A lot of reasons for this, but when we try to figure out what's going on in the markets and what's going on with GDP, it really comes down to where are we getting our goods and services from. For the most part, it's industrial supplies and materials that are doing this. I mean, there's a lot of factors in here, but for the most part, we want to see as much as possible most things made as close to home as possible. Now, there's some exceptions to that. Obviously, some countries do a better job of producing certain things than others, but for the most part, a large trade deficit is generally not good for what we're trying to accomplish in this country from a growth standpoint. That obviously affects the markets. You've seen the markets have been a little jittery lately. We're not too concerned about that long term. I think a lot of that has to do with what's going on with the current administration in the White House trying to figure out how to deal with tariffs. Whether you agree or disagree, I think the idea that fair trade is important, I think most people would agree with. I think most people would agree with that free trade would be great, but we know that free trade just does not exist between countries, and so from an economic standpoint, that's causing some consternation. We've pretty much given up most of the profits for this year with the market fluctuation. But what's interesting with this trade deficit does come some positive things. Because we're importing things from other countries, that does mean that some of these other areas are doing better than normal. For the last several years, we've been waiting for international to kind of poke its head out and say, hey, I'm here, and we're there. So most of the performance we've had in most portfolios this year has been on the international side, and so it's important to continue to keep that under control and know what's going on and make sure we continue to have a well-diversified portfolio. It remains to be seen how the tariff, we'll call it quote air quote tariff war plays out, but I do think that most of that is probably more hot air than anything, and it's used as a tool to kind of get countries to come to the table to do some different things, and I think that'll affect the trade deficit as well. Clearly, we want to have a strong economy. We want to make sure that jobs are strong here, and that's what's best for the competitive world, is to make sure that our jobs are good. Obviously, every country is going to do the same thing, and as we negotiate those contracts and those rules, they'll be able to probably, I think in this administration's standpoint, try to keep the trade deficit a little bit under control and kind of get it back to normal. There's probably always going to be some level of trade deficit. We just as a country consume more than most other countries do. That's a pretty normal situation. Whether it's right or wrong is irrelevant, but that's kind of what goes on. And so as we look forward, we want to make sure that we continue to monitor the portfolios, make sure we stay broadly diversified, because we can't predict exactly how these things work. We do want to make sure that our gross domestic product, or GDP, grows on an annual basis in this country. That allows us to grow portfolios. It grows the economy. It keeps jobs going. But there's always ebbs and flows in those situations as well. So anyway, that's it for this week. Just kind of for the most part, corporate fundamentals remain healthy. Policy is driving U.S. equity markets. And I think in the long run we'll be fine, but there may be a little bit of hiccup here and there. We'll kind of keep an eye on things as things go, but we'll keep you posted on our weekly updates as we continue to do reviews as well this spring. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us here in the office, or if you have anybody you would like to forward this to, we're more than happy to visit with them. And we're always looking to grow our business, and if you have any questions, just reach out to the office and we'll go from there. Thanks, and we'll talk to you soon.